Hi guys, welcome to the If I Speak podcast, episode 2. If you're new around here, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify as well. We've also got our Twitter page launched as well, and we're quite active on Instagram as well, so give us a follow on that. And here today we've got the normal panel, Shivam, Nandu, Abhinav, and Kunal. So, firstly, we're going to talk about the results happened last week and stuff, Premier League results. So, we'll start with Nandu. Sheffield United v Spurs was last week. You guys won 3-1. How do you feel about that, bro?
Obviously, that was a dominant performance. We started off with 5 at the back, which I was a bit skeptical with that first, but it clearly worked for us with our wing backs pushing forward.
Yeah.
And it was a good performance overall with Rodon easing into the game. But towards the beginning, he was looking slightly nervous, obviously, since it was his Premier League debut. Obviously, third goal, Ndembula, beautiful flick over the head.
Do you know what? I totally forgot that happened. You know, what a goal, by the way. That was mad. Yeah. That was mad, to be fair.
But there were some concerns overall because obviously Dyer, I don't know what to say, man. Seriously. He's a centre back. He can't jump to save his life. And Dele Alli was not in the squad, but
can you compare it to Maldini when we were doing the Tottenham Chelsea preview last month or something, 2 months ago?
No comment. no comment.
I can't talk, to be fair, so.
We'll get to you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to you soon, bro.
Oh, yeah. Great, guys. Yeah. And obviously you had your midweek game already as well. I totally forgot you guys played. Who did you guys play?
Who did we play?
Who did you play? No, you didn't have the game, did you? No, sorry.
Game.
Yeah. You know what? It's fantasy. When you see fantasy, you see everyone has a double game week, but you guys didn't play midweek. Sorry. So yeah, overall, you feel confident going ahead to other games as well, beating Sheffield United. Obviously, they beat Newcastle last week. They must have some confidence going into Spurs. So, what are your overall thoughts going forward and stuff?
So we got an FA Cup fixture against Wickham. Obviously, we're probably going to be playing our second team because you got Liverpool on Thursday. So obviously, we have to play our strongest team against them.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right. We'll go to Kunal next. Obviously, buzzing. You top of the league still. How do you feel about the 0-0 draw last week at Liverpool? What are your thoughts on that, bro?
Really boring game. I literally had to take a nap after the game, like I mentioned on the page as well. But then if I look back at it, United had the better chances, the fewer chances, but the better chances. Yeah. So I just believe that Pogba or Bruno, one of them should have finished their chances off, even though Liverpool in the first half.
Wait, who? Bruno? Who's
Bruno and Pogba.
Yeah. Who's Bruno? You know Bruno?
In
that game, man. He didn't. I didn't even notice he played.
He was missing against the top 6, isn't it?
But then if you look at yesterday's game, he's now the fastest player to reach 15 Premier League assists. So. Yeah, you guys know his name.
Wait, who? I don't know you talk about, mate. Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. So Liverpool played better first half and way better than United. But I guess the way United was set up was to defend a lot and play on the counter attack like they did last season against the top 6 clubs.
Yeah.
But in the second half, they started playing well and then got the better chances. A very frustrating game looking at those chances, but decent result overall. Getting a draw against Liverpool away from home, that's nice.
What about yesterday then? How do you feel about yesterday and stuff? Obviously, Pogba with that great strike and stuff.
Yesterday's game was really good. I mean, finally we get to see Bailly back in the lineup with Maguire, which I believe is the better centre back partnership. Anybody playing with Bailly, because Bailly has the pace, which Lindelof and Maguire don't, and then Maguire at centre back had a decent performance as well. Not a really amazing performance because he clearly missed a goal. I mean, that should have been a goal because, like I mentioned in the last episode, we bought him for heading and then he's not heading the ball properly. But his defensive, he coped up with his defending duties really well. And then looking at the performance from the midfield, I believe that is the strongest United midfield, having Fred alongside Pogba and then giving Bruno the room to free roam in front of them. And we don't really work well if we have McTominay in there or Matic in there because Matic is really slow, and then McTominay is not at par with what Fred can do because Fred is really tenacious. So just a really good performance, and then Cavani got his goal that he's been deserving of. He's deserved that goal for a long time now.
Yeah.
And just a decent performance, and just going on with the theme with this episode, I would say Pog baller because of the goal. So
Pog baller. First you got Ndom baller, and I got Pog baller, man. Jesus Christ, what we come to, man.
Decent result, and now we are back on the top of the league, so that's great.
Yeah. Quickly, just before move on to Shivam next. In terms of Pogba, because a lot of people are saying that he's only playing this well just to get his move. What are your thoughts on that? Do you believe in that, or do you actually think he's turned it around and stuff? Or
I don't think he's turned it around, but what I believe is the conversation that Solskjaer had with him earlier was that get to the end of the season, then we'll see whether we'll give you a new contract, or if you want to go, you can leave then. But till the end of the season, if you want to leave, you can leave with the Premier League winners medal, which you didn't think that you would be able to do at the beginning of the season. So now that we're in a position like this, I believe that he's performing because he is a top player and he wants to perform rather than him just performing just because he wants to move away. So he's just got his head down and he's working really hard, which is great because Pogba is one of the best midfielders in the world.
Yeah, to be fair, he's smashed it, to be fair. But yeah, congrats and stuff, topping league and stuff. Let's hope it doesn't stay for too long. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on to Shivam next. Your result against what do you call it? Was it Brighton? Brighton at home or Brighton away? You lost 1-0, right?
Brighton at home, yeah.
What
Brighton
thoughts,
away, sorry.
Are you worried at all? Like,
I don't know what to say. What do I say? Losing to Brighton 1-0. I mean, what can you say? You know what I mean? What can you say? But I don't think we had a bad game. I think we did all right. It was just I think initially at the beginning we did okay. I think we had the Rodrigo chance. He could have easily tapped it in. Obviously that didn't happen. It stayed goalless, and then a couple of minutes later we got Maupay just tapping it in again at the other end. And then a little celebration to rub it in. I mean, but other than that, I mean, it was a pretty boring game. I mean, it was probably just as boring as Liverpool United. But it's just the fact that they managed to get a very easy, like, whack goal. I mean, I don't know what's happening, to be honest. I mean, Bamford's sort of brought back a bit, I've noticed, in the last 2-3 games. Playing Rodrigo as the main striker. And there's something not working between the midfield and the attack. There's no link, so it's just lost a bit. And obviously defensively, I don't know what's happening. Defensively, I mean, our players, Dallas, Ayling, they're not turning up as they were in previous games. I don't know. It's all over the place with Leeds. I mean, we do good some games and some games we don't. And obviously the question is it this Bielsa tactic that's not really working, or is it working? So who knows? I mean, who have we got next?
I think you guys was
game yet, so that
which was that got postponed, right, because of COVID reasons, right? Yeah.
So we'll have that in later on down the line. And I think next we have Newcastle, which last time round we did beat them. I think it was 5-2. We beat them.
5-2. Yeah.
So hopefully we get another scoreline like that.
Do you think it's an even bigger game for you guys now? Because obviously you lost to Brighton and stuff, just so that you're not looking over your shoulders and stuff, just in case.
I think we have to turn up in the next game. I mean, if we don't, then there's a
bit of pressure.
Yeah. I mean, but another thing annoys me is the media. Like, they always spin this story that we're doing crap and whatever. But the fact of the matter is, we've come from a lower league, and we're already 3 points off Chelsea, 3 or 4 points off Chelsea. Like a point off Arsenal.
You have to get that in there, innit?
Yeah, these big teams, like, you're spending that much money and you're only that. The gap is so small. Like, I mean, I think we've done all right, to be fair.
Yeah.
Arsenal's not a big team anymore, so.
Yeah. Well, they did beat you though at the beginning of the season, so.
Yeah, those results happened though.
Yeah, so. Whereas we drew with the City and Arsenal, so.
We beat you 6-2 though. We beat you 6-2, so.
Well, we scored 2 goals in the last 10 minutes with our right back, top right corner, against the world-class De Gea. So,
I mean, at least you're not spending 250 million to build into the future, are you?
Yeah.
Anyway, Abid, your thoughts on Liverpool? Obviously 0-0. against United, and you've got to play later on tonight against Burnley. What's your thoughts on the Liverpool United game? How do you feel about that and stuff?
If I speak, I am in big trouble. Nah, but like it was a boring game, like everyone said. Like we go into those games really like expecting a big like loads of goals, counter-attacking football and stuff that always ends 0-0. So yeah, it's just a typical Liverpool United game. Like after we lost to Southampton, I wasn't really expecting us to just blitz through United. So I'll take a 0-0 for now. It could have been worse. Like if we lost, then there's a lot of problems going into the next run of fixtures. I think Shaw, Alisson, and Thiago impressed me. Shaw was really good. He looked really composed.
Yeah, he was sick to be fair. He was sick.
And Alisson just doing what he usually does, turns up in the big games. Doesn't make many mistakes. Distribution was good and whatnot. And Thiago, like I think this is his third full like proper start after an injury, so he's doing pretty well considering that.
He was sick. Like his inside dribbles were like they were insane. Yeah. How do you feel about the referee decision with there's obviously a lot of going around on the internet stuff about the referee not blowing too early for half time? Do you think that had an impact on anything, or?
I don't get why. I mean, there's 60 seconds in a minute, and he blew in the 53rd second. So I don't get what was going on there. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do. It's just annoying. We were on an attack, so they shouldn't have stopped it. I guess one thing I would say though is like the referee doesn't have the same timer we do. Like we see 45 minutes, 46 minutes, 53 seconds. For them, they must have clicked their watch earlier, and what's it called? I think it was Wijnaldum who passed it backwards anyway. So yeah,
that's fair enough. And quickly looking ahead to Burnley then. What are your thoughts on Burnley? Because I believe the game's in about 2-3 hours. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be Burnley against Burnley the way we're playing right now. So it's just I don't know what's going to happen. It's just a bit. We're both playing like similar football. We're just spamming crosses, hoping except they've got tall strikers, so they can do something about it. And I mean it's a good game for Burnley if you think about it. They like to attack defenders with long balls and just keep putting pressure in corners. And we'll have someone like Fabinho, like a makeshift centre back, and someone like Williams, so they could target us. But I feel like this is one of those games where Liverpool will kind of bounce back from their results and kick on from here.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
What about you? What about you, Damesh? What do you think about your game?
Which one?
Which one? Let's start with the most recent one, Leicester.
The game Frank is playing.
I'll start with Fulham.
You shouldn't have done that. You should have let him start with Fulham first and then Leicester.
I thought I'd let him out first.
I'll start with Fulham. Just so there's a bit of positivity around here, innit? Well, there's not even much positive about that, to be fair. We just got the job done really against Fulham. I was saying to my cousin, because he's a Fulham fan as well. We actually got really lucky to get a win. A draw was a fair enough result, I think, for that game, because we didn't play well at all. Fair enough. Mason Mount was insane that game. Hands down. Hit the bar, obviously got the goal, went out of vital time, great finish. But the whole game, man, we just looked so lackluster, didn't really feel up for it. The red card changed things, definitely, 100%. But it was just good to get 3 points, really, for that game, man. Oh, my God, okay. Next game, Leicester. Oh, God. Right, where do I start, man? Firstly, congratulate Leicester for winning. Unbelievable side. Blew us over, the whole game. But my biggest concern was the starting lineup. It's when I looked at it, I briefly said in my Instagram story as well. I was like, why play 3 CMs and not have a DM in there? It's similar. Say your team, so say Man United play Pogba, Van der Beek, and Bruno as a midfield 3 against Maddison, Tielemans, and Ndidi. It's I don't know what Lampard was thinking doing that. Obviously, you got Gilmour on the bench for a reason. Why didn't you play him or play Jorginho in that position instead of Kovacic? Kovacic is a 6 EM, no doubt about that. Mason Mount as well. But you've got to have a DM in there to stop the attacks coming from the central areas. And I think where the game was lost, particularly, was the fullbacks. We were dreadful. Chilwell didn't bomb forward once. Reece James caught out for the second goal. Poor defending there. Like, I kind of blame Rudiger as well, but not as much as Reece James, because I've hyped him up so much. I've said that he could be better than Trent, which I still believe, but he's not obviously proving it at the moment. He's not. He's doing so badly at the moment. And I even said last week, like, he has to match Trent's performance or do better, but he's not proving that right now. Like, I can't remember a tiny bit of stat because he's coming back from injury, but Chilwell and the rest of the team, they're just not. It just seems like there's such a eerie and bad vibe around the club right now. Then obviously players like Havertz did nothing that game. Didn't bomb forward, didn't create any chances, didn't shoot at all. That's his problem. He takes too long at times when he's outside the box. It's like, pull the trigger, have a shot. You could be Lampard-esque in that sense, where Lampard would shoot and you're learning from the best, but he's just not proving performances at the moment. And I said from the start, I was like, I'd rather have Timo Werner start than Abraham in the Leicester game, particularly because it was kind of similar to Southampton, where he got 2 of those goals, where he was excellent in that game, by the way. But like with Leicester, I wanted Werner to start. Like, fair enough, he scored, it was offside, yeah, like whatever, but he did at least put the ball in the back of net. With Tammy Abraham, like, it's literally spider legs. Like, the ball doesn't stick to him. It's like when he gets the ball, it's like he's on the floor with like 20 Jaeger shots, man. He's just falling over all the time. It's like, how can someone fall over so much? And Fofana's like probably my height or even shorter. Fofana, baller by the way as well, did sick that game. But yeah, fair play to Leicester. And like, in terms of Lampard, like, he's been like, I've been questioning him since the Arsenal game, since we lost to Arsenal. That's when my head started to kind of turn with him. I was like, okay, this is not on at all. But like, since then, our results haven't been great. We've only won 2 games, which are West Ham, which we were poor, and even Fulham, we were poor as well. So the performances aren't even backing it. So in that sense, it's not great. But I think I'd give Lampard until the Newcastle game. So I think we have a run of 3 or 4 games next. And say if we lose or draw or loss, like, you've got to pull the trigger. I think he's got to go after that. Like, there's no excuse in that. Like, there's only so much patience I can have with him, in the sense that I'm still Lampard in 100%, but if it gets worse from now, there's only so much you can back the manager in that sense. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Chelsea really. And moving on from Chelsea, thankfully, God, we're actually going to discuss today on the podcast about how does football bounce back from the coronavirus pandemic. So obviously we know every week and stuff, cases and stuff and deaths are rising and stuff, and we want to beat this obviously. And like, massive shout out to all the key workers out there doing an amazing job for this country and stuff. But it's with football as well, because I think football is the only thing that's really keeping the country going, in a sense. Obviously those that love football, but there has to come to a point where fans have to return and clubs need to make their money again. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, how does football bounce back from COVID? We'll start with Abhinav.
I think we have to, like, it's really hard to tell right now what's going to happen in the future. So I think what we have to do is once we reach the end of the season, including like the the Euros and everything, all the internationals, just assess what the cases are like at the moment. And then I say, like, looking at that, there are some countries that are like who have put like that 30% of the population have vaccines, and the cases are still going up. So we won't know if we can bring back fans or anything like that. But when we can, I think what we should do is just like slowly ease it in, just so that it's safe. And then, because it's really important for like, the small clubs that need that revenue from the fans coming weekly. They need a lot of financial support right now because they're in a lot of trouble. Even the big clubs, they're struggling to make signings and things like that. So I'd say just maybe looking forward, we would have to probably ease the fans in, and we also have to look at pre-season as well. A lot of these players haven't had proper breaks. They had that break last year, but they had to still keep themselves fit because they never knew when the season was returning. So they had to just maintain their fitness, never had a proper break, and then they were rushed back into it, and then they had 2 weeks break in the summer. So I say it's really difficult because of the international break. So they'd have to find like a slot maybe to get a proper break for the players, because you're already seeing it now. There's quite a lot of injuries, a lot of uncertainty this season. Also just keep the footballers keep doing what they're doing, like big up Rashford, what he's doing with the food bank, and everything. And Henderson as well. All the players helping the NHS right now, like giving given the role.
Yeah, in terms of Liverpool then itself linking to COVID and stuff, how much of an impact do you think that's had on Liverpool in terms of you had fans for a bit? Do you think that actually made a massive impact on how you guys were performing, and in terms of financially and stuff, do you think it's impacted you guys a lot, or?
Yeah, football wise, like like people say like Anfield like atmosphere is a myth, but then a big Anfield game, no one wins. That's the thing. We always come up on top. So it's had an impact on us. I thought it would be like a pretty big impact. I thought we would have lost our like Anfield record, but we're still winning games. And I think Anfield still has that like fear factor. People come there afraid. They set up differently, things like that. So I think football wise, it's had an impact. I think we'll only see once the Champions League starts, where there's like home and away, and see how that affects us, because like a big factor for us getting through like we went to the Europa League final, Champions League final, and Champions League final again. A big reason for that is Anfield alone. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that, man. Move on to Kunal now. Same questions to you, really. How does football bounce back from COVID, and specifically Manchester United? Yeah.
Yeah, so like Abhinav said at the beginning there, that just finish this season first and then try to formulate a plan where, in order to bring fans back to the ground, because last week I was reading that 3.2 million people have been vaccinated already in the UK. So I believe in the summer, when the schools are shut down completely, when the unis are off completely, when people are not moving out as much, you can vaccinate a lot more people, and then you can start to think about moving fans back into the stadiums. And
yeah,
if you look at it, the vaccination has been working for a lot of people, but the government is just at this moment they're trying not to rush it onto people, and a lot of people still have questions about it. So until unless a proper vaccine doesn't come out, or the people don't trust this vaccine, I don't think that we would be able to get back to where football was before the pandemic, where we're having around 50,000, 60,000 fans in the stadium every game. So that's about it. I mean, just finish this season first and then look forward, because we'll have the whole summer, around 3 months, to decide what to do.
I was also speaking to my so a few people from home and stuff. They were saying in terms of Man United, like having the fans there actually had an impact on how you guys started the season as well. Because a lot of people saying, "Oh, we missed the fans and stuff." Do you think that was? Do you think that played a part in how badly you started the season and stuff, or?
Definitely. I mean, if you look at it, our home form has been way worse than our away form. And if you think about it, we had 70,000 fans every week in the stadium. So United has the largest club stadium in England. So having those 70,000 fans each week in the stadium made a huge difference to our players.
Yeah.
And yes, there have been a lot of fans coming into various stadiums in the UK. They did recently, where you had 2,000 fans or 3,000 fans in various stadiums, but they don't make the impact that you say 70,000 fans do. So looking at it from a fan's perspective, yes, it has affected our home form, but just how the season is going, I can't complain just because we are top of the league. So I don't know. It could have worked in the opposite way also, where away fans would have made sure that United lost some games. So it works both ways.
Yeah, and okay, on to Shivam next. In terms of Leeds, then, obviously you've been waiting so long. Obviously, you're back in the Prem now. Do you think, like, obviously with COVID, COVID is annoying anyway, but do you think it's hit the worst time for you guys to come back? Because obviously, I know some of your fans have been buzzing to get there, especially games. So, like, say, Man United v Leeds at Ellen Road, and like other games like us even going, or even all the big clubs. Like, do you think that's had a massive impact on Leeds as well? Or
I think it has, because I think Leeds as a city is very football driven. So I think most of everyone in Leeds is probably a Leeds fan, unless they're a Huddersfield fan or maybe a Man United fan. 99% of the fans there are probably Leeds fans. And it's a very football driven city. So if there was a match tomorrow in Australia, they'll sell out the stadium. Like they'll go tomorrow, they'll get a flight. You know what I mean? They'll travel there with their flags and whatever, and their kits and their memorabilia. They'll go, they stand outside chanting everything, the full shebang. I mean, that's the package you get with being a Leeds fan. So I think coming back to the Prem and then not being able to see your team play, especially at home, let alone away, in own home stadium, which is probably just around the corner for some guys. And then especially against, like you said, the big teams, the Chelseas, the Man United, the Spurs. I was about to say Arsenal, but they're not really in it anymore.
They might hate you guys go Arsenal.
The big teams. I might have to substitute them for Leicester or someone else, but the bigger teams, obviously, you obviously want to be at them games. Like it's been a long time. Like we want to go back and enjoy it. But I think no, like these guys both said. Just to add on that, I mean, I don't think anything's going to happen now in terms of COVID. I mean, obviously the vaccines here. There's multiple types of vaccines. There's a Pfizer vaccine, Moderna vaccine, and then obviously there's the thing that there's now a new strain out. And does that work with this vaccine, or how do we detect that we've even got the virus? And obviously the amount of tests that people are having to have. So I still think we're at the very early stages. I mean, it's sad to say, but I think we could be in this state for quite a while yet. I mean, the footballers are doing a great job, as in they're doing the job without any fans in the stadium. I mean, it can be hard work. And then obviously on top of that, scoring goals, the pressure of some players obviously getting abuse online because now everything's online. Whereas you would in the stadium, you'd forget about it 5 minutes later. But when you're getting tweeted and mentioned and added, and it's always going to be there up in your face. The media obviously talking more because everyone's watching the media, everyone's watching Sky Sports, Sky News. So in them sort of ways, it is bad. But I think the only way we can bounce back from it is just carry on as we are. I mean, obviously now, like Sky, for example, then the February fixtures are now all going to be televised on TV. So I think in the football world, anything that they can do, the football world is doing. So big up to them. But we just have to continue as we are and see what happens. And hopefully by next season, we can go back to Ellen Road, see Leeds play Ellen Road, and
you need you back to Ellen Road, not us.
And you never know, we could be top four. I mean, we're a fans-driven club. If we had the fans there, we could be top four.
Someone clip that.
Clip that. Someone please. I beg you. In the comments, guys, clip that.
I'll see the Leeds fans retweeting it. It's gonna happen because that's our club. Like, if Bamford's getting stick from Leeds fans, trust me, he'll run a lot faster. He'll shoot a lot more. And then you never know, man. We could be scoring against, the big club. So I think the teams which are very much fan-driven, like Liverpool, Leeds, whoever they are, they need their fans back. And it's only a matter of time before that will happen. So until then, we just got to support our teams from home. That's the only way possible.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Thanks for that, man. So on to London next. Same question as the other guys, really. How do you think? Luckily for you, obviously you, Spurs, you played your first set of fans were against Arsenal. Was that right? Where your fans came back? That was the only game they came back for, right?
That must be the only game with fans. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think take out bans and stuff? But do you think COVID has impacted Tottenham as a club?
I mean, during the first lockdown, it probably affected us to the point where Daniel Levy had to take out a loan just to cover our stadium costs because we only opened it the year before and we still haven't paid it off yet. So the way I see it is that for football to bounce back, I think will take a very, very long time because in terms of match day revenues, everything's going to go down because that will probably maybe affect players because in terms of wages, they may have to renegotiate and probably even let go of their best players to even cover their costs.
I hear that. Yeah, that is true. Actually, that is true. In the sense of fans, and so, do you think Spurs missed their fans then, or?
I mean, when we opened our new stadium, I wouldn't say it wasn't the same atmosphere as a White Hart Lane because our home form wasn't that great until Mourinho came in. So I wouldn't really say that it has had a big impact yet, but probably we'll only see until the stadium reopens again properly.
Yeah, that's fair enough, man. That's fair enough.
What about you, Dharmesh? you made a lot of signings in the summer. A lot of them are coming from like abroad, and
This guy can't
a
take it
lot.
seriously.
Really putting emphasis on this, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
putting this through.
You need
Like,
to
if you
add the
think about,
figures in as well.
yeah, 200, 300, 400. What was it again? Just remind me.
£1,
No, but
£1, I think.
yeah, but
or-
like I was saying, you
Maybe
made
that's
a
the
lot
actual
of
value, but
signings.
At the moment, it is. We'll see the future. Then we'll see the future. Yeah.
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 But
Sorry,
yeah,
I've been
so
gone.
no worries. You made quite a lot of signings in the summer.
Yeah.
A lot of them are coming from abroad, new place, and they're going during like this period. It must be quite difficult for the new signings to settle in. Do you think that's a big factor in why Chelsea's signings aren't performing and Chelsea in general?
100%. As much as you guys like not take it seriously, stuff, but I do think it's a huge factor because it's not just about football; it's about lifestyle as well. Like if you're moving to another country, another city, it's obviously going to take time for adapt. Like obviously, we know as uni students, we've obviously all moved from home and stuff, different countries, like and gone to different unis and stuff. It takes for some people it just doesn't work, or some people it takes time to settle in and stuff. So in that sense, yeah, I do. I do kind of have sympathy for them in that sense because even with Kai Havertz, he's only moved to a city or a new club once. That's it, and he's only 21 years old. So in that sense, it will take time, especially for all these players like Ziyech, Werner, Havertz. I said before, Thiago Silva's hit the ground running. Chilwell's obviously played in this country. Like Mendy's done all right as well. So in that sense, yeah, it does take time for everyone for adjust. It just depends on like your family as well, if they're settling in. Because I think was it Di Maria's wife or something didn't enjoy being in Manchester? I think.
Now they got
when-
robbed. His house
Oh,
got
is it they
robbed.
got robbed? Oh, okay, yeah. It's you see stuff like that that can affect you psychologically as well. So even taking COVID out, like moving to another country is difficult as well. And obviously, what I think one of you touched upon was pre-season. Not having a pre-season is quite important as well, just so that you get the chemistry in the players as well, which will hopefully come. Fingers crossed, yeah, that will come soon. But if there's a pre-season, but in terms of COVID, I think for Chelsea, I think our club we've actually managed to do like handle it well in that sense. Like Roman Abramovich, I think, has opened up a hospital. I think right opposite the stadium. He's used the hotel to open up the stadium there. Paying the staff all right and stuff. Obviously, we splashed the cash in the summer, got all the signings we wanted. Like we're quite fortunate in that sense that we have money compared to other clubs, like low league clubs that don't, because they might go bankrupt. To be honest, with no funds, like even like grassroots level, they might not even be able to play again, or even like low league sides like League One, League Two teams. They're really struggling. But I think two clubs specifically that are struggle with COVID, I think, are Arsenal and Sheffield United. I think Arsenal, in terms of all the scandalous stuff that was going on, like outside the club, like Ozil and the pay cut stuff, like not refusing to take a pay cut, and people not self-isolating. Yeah, and in terms of Sheffield United, I think just their fans not being there, like Sheffield touched upon it, like how important fans are. I think Sheffield United, I think their big reason for staying up was because of the fans, and that's kind of why I tipped them to go down like this year because they're just pretty real. They're crap anyway. They're not playing good football anyway, but their fans helped them last season get through games, which is something I think they miss. So in terms of how we bounce back, I think just the same again. It's like shout out to all the footballers and like all the commentators, cameramen. They're all doing like a sick job to provide entertainment for us, like people at home, and especially for those alone and stuff. Like this football actually helps them get through it. So in that sense, I want to shout out them as well. But just have to stick to rules and stuff. Like all the footballers, us as well, people at home, being able to self isolate and stuff, and try not to spread the virus, which is difficult anyway. But who knows when this lockdown is going to end and stuff. But we just have to see.
What about fans? How do you think Chelsea's been impacted by fans? Because I can only speak from Chelsea Liverpool games. Every time we go there, I just hear like Gerrard chants and Chelsea, 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 and that's all. But do you think it's actually had an impact?
I probably wouldn't say as much as like maybe say Leeds United or Liverpool in that sense, but it's similar to like Spurs fans in a sense. Like we miss fans. Like it makes impact. I think we played only 2 games with fans. I think it was the Leeds game at home, and then I think a Champions League game we had fans.
Yeah.
It didn't have an impact on the result. I think like back then when we were winning back then, we were still winning games back then. But I don't think it's impacted us too much. But but yeah, we just have to wait and see really for the future. See if we can get fans back quickly, because I'm sure like all football clubs miss their fans anyway, even if it's Spurs, Chelsea, or whoever. But yeah.
Also,
And
I think it's a manager thing, because if
Yeah.
you look at Mourinho when he was at Chelsea, like they would never get beaten at home. They went 90+ games unbeaten. He's gone to Spurs. They have an unbeaten run. Klopp's done the same thing. Do you think Lampard was building something like that at Chelsea, like their home record before the pandemic?
I kind of get the sense of that because last season, with the time we had fans, our home record was okay. I mean, we still lost games because even last December we lost 3 home games on the trot. I think it was West Ham, Southampton, and I can't remember the last one. Yeah, I think we lost 3 in a row basically at home. The fans want to feel connected to Lampard. I think we haven't had that connection with Lampard since Antonio Conte was there, because there was times at the games where like we were screaming for Antonio Conte. Like he got such a massive vibe around the club. Like even with Sarri, when Sarri was there after, like we just weren't excited to be there really. So, and your fans were just frustrated with Sarri because obviously his tactics and stuff. But oh god, imagine Chelsea fans at the moment with what Lampard's doing. Is Sarri-esque, man. I said it already. Maurizio Lampard at the moment, man. Trust me. Like that's just the way he's running at the moment. But yeah, I do get the sense that because it's Lampard, like us Chelsea fans, we love him. We love him so much, so we'd feel connected in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, so on to the last part of the show now. We're gonna just touch upon the upcoming games. So a few games for the weekend. I think there's some Prem games that are midweek as well. So starting with, I was gonna say Shivan, but I forgot you guys are not in the FA Cup. Awkward. So starting with so I'll start with Kunal Abhinav then. So obviously you guys Man U Liverpool again, another game. How do you guys seeing the result for that? What are your thoughts on it for Sunday?
Who's going first, me or Kunal?
Kunal, Abhinav, you can go first.
It really depends on if Klopp is up for it, I guess. Like Klopp is notorious for just fielding like his children or just anyone across the street for the cup game. So I don't know. Like it really depends. Like even yeah. So I feel like this season Klopp's going to start taking cup seriously just because of the situation we're in. I don't see it really like being realistic. Us like maintaining a title challenge. So I think he'll go for the cups. I mean, we've already been knocked out the League Cup, but the FA Cup and the Champions League. So I feel like he's going to put like a strong side out, someone like a full strength side with maybe Nico Williams and Keller in goal. And then just the rest of it just be the first team. So we'll have to see. It's Klopp. I don't know.
Yeah. Kunal, what about you, bro?
Yeah, so like Abhinav mentioned, Klopp usually puts out his children. Yeah, so what I think that just because what kind of a position they are in the league right now, he would want to retain that Premier League title and he would go with a weaker side right now in this match unless he watches us and then he just puts out a full strength team saying I'm going to prove this United boy wrong. But whatever happens, I think that they're going to play with a weaker side. But with United also, what we'll see is a lot of rotation. What I think is just because he gave Rashford a rest Solskjaer gave Rashford a rest in the last game, I believe Rashford will play, but then we're not going to see Bruno in the team. We're going to see Van de Beek in the team. We'll probably see somebody like Mata in the team. We'll probably see Matic return. We're probably going to see Lindelof, Antoine Zabi play. So, and Telles play. So we're going to have a decent side, but unlike Klopp, I believe that Solskjaer is going to go with a stronger team, not with a very weak side. So he'll have a few first team players in there, but highly rotated squad. That's what he'll go with.
Also, it's a big game. It's a pretty it's Liverpool United, so I don't know if how big a risk they'll take considering the bragging rights, FA Cup. Yeah, so we'll have to see.
Who's home, by the way? Who's at home?
United is home.
Oh, it's United.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What are your score predictions, by the way, for the game?
I would just say because of what Liverpool do again, Klopp playing his children, I would say we would see goals in this game. So what I'll go with is a 2-1 United.
Okay, fair. Yeah. What about you, Abhinav?
I think it's going to be maybe a draw.
Draw.
I think I think we'll leak goal. I don't know. I feel like Klopp will surprise us. I feel like he'll bring a strong team now. If he does, I feel like it's going to be a draw and maybe to penalties, something like that. But if it's the under 23s, then it's going to be something like a 3-1, a 2-1, something like that. So
If it's a draw, does it go to extra time penalties, or it does, right? I think, or is it replays? Because I can't remember.
I don't think there's replays anymore.
No.
There's no replays. It goes to extra time penalties.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Yeah. Thanks for that, guys. So we'll move on to London next. Then you guys got your FA Cup game against Wickham. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're playing Wickham on Monday.
Yeah. What were your thoughts? Just get the result out there,
Yeah.
or
Just get a result with our second team, basically, because we're playing Liverpool on Thursday as well. So I
Yeah.
really doubt that we're going to play anyone from our first team.
yeah, fair enough. And Shivam, you obviously got a Prem game on midweek, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it Newcastle? You said you're
I
playing.
think it is Newcastle. Yeah, my
Yeah,
mind's all over the
Newcastle.
place with these fixtures at the moment because you never know when any can get postponed. But I think
Yeah.
it is Newcastle. Yeah,
Do you think it's a must-win now then, seeing as you haven't won?
I
In
think
a
it has.
while,
I think it has to be. I mean, players have to turn up. The likes of Harrison. I want to see them more attacking, and then I think the defenders need to stay back this time. Just keep defensively. But I think Newcastle, they've been pretty shaky in the last couple of games.
They've been poor, to be fair,
Yeah,
really
so
good.
it should be an easy win. It all depends on who Bielsa plays, but the way he is, I think he'll just stick with the same team regardless. I don't think he's going to change for the next few games. So that means like Rodrigo up top, Rafinha on the right, and probably defenders Dallas, Ayling, Cooper, and probably Pascal Strike. But I mean, I think we should win. But I don't think it'll be as good as the 5-2 last time. It might be like a 3-1 or 2-1 or something like that. It all depends defensively how we do. I mean, even on the 5-2, we still let in 2 goals, which we shouldn't have, which is a big problem because you score in 5 goals and you still let 2 in. Like, you can't become complacent. You have to keep at it. So let's see what happens. I mean, hopefully we get 3 points and just push us up the table a bit. See what happens.
That's fair enough, man. That's fair enough. Okay, cool.
And Chelsea?
Right, so yeah, we've got Luton on Sunday, I believe. So we got 12 o'clock kick against Luton. I mean, like, if it's just at this point, it's just like it's a nothing game for us, really. Well, obviously it's a cup game, you have to win and stuff to get through. But in that sense, it's a bit like it's just a stat bag game, really. For like, obviously, I think Werner's going to start against Luton. Like, that's just the reality of it because he didn't play against Leicester.
That's his level.
At the moment it is. Yeah. But the thing is, I don't want us to be complacent because we have to remember Luton are like in the Championship as well. So they're not even like a League 1 or 2 team. It's like you kind of have to not be complacent in that sense because they are a Championship team. So, and you know what the FA Cup's like, anything can happen. So just have to get out there, get the result, and then we play Wolves on Wednesday at home. That's another game where I'm like, we have to win. It's just simple. It has to be 3 points. It has to be convincing. Just get some form. We have to get up the table. And then just hope that I can't believe I'm gonna fucking say this, man. West Ham, Southampton, and like Villa lose because that's the level we're at the moment. Just reality. So, and I don't want to see any more socially distanced like defending from like Reece James or like Thiago Silva because I think they've been taking the COVID protocols a bit too seriously on the pitch. It's like, nah, just don't social distance with marking defenders, man. But yeah, just have to beat Wolves. So Wolves are in poor form at the moment as well. So it's kind of a perfect game for us just to get out there, get at Wolves, and just put this poor form to bed, man, because it just needs to end ASAP and hopefully build some confidence in Frank Lampard as well. But yeah, I'm probably going to go with I'll probably say a 2-1 Chelsea prediction, I think. Yeah, that's probably what I'll go with. And then
I forgot to ask earlier, what do you make of Lampard blaming the players again? This is the second time he's done it, and I feel like the more he does this, he's going to lose the dressing room eventually, or maybe he's already lost it, and this is what's happening now. What do you think about
that? I think, in the sense, I don't like it when he criticizes players, but we also have to remember here, it's not all Lampard's fault. Like, you have to blame the players as well. Like, some of the performances are just not good enough. So in that sense, I get why he did it, but consistently doing it is not looking healthy. Because I think he did that at Derby as well, didn't he? He was a couple of games that they lost. He just blamed the players, but he's still inexperienced. It's his second job. It's like It's like he'll learn. He has to learn on top of managing Chelsea Football Club, which is big club as well. So I get why he said those things, but in terms of losing the dressing room, I can see why. But then I hope some players are like, oh no, this is Frank Lampard. Like this is one of the best midfielders in the Prem. Like we want to play for this guy, and obviously he knows Chelsea inside out. So we should just trust the manager. That's why I hope that there's actual trust in the manager, because the performances don't show. But the only two players I can really say that I've actually done really well are Mount and Pulisic. I think like maybe the goals and assists don't show for Pulisic, but he's actually done well. Like even against Fulham, I thought he was okay, but I still would have rested him for Leicester because he came back from injury and stuff. So I just want to give him a rest for a game. But he's done well, even Mason Mount. But this might be a bit out there. But if Lampard does get sacked or leave, I'm kind of worried in the sense that Mason Mount might follow him just because of that relationship that they both have. But I know obviously he loves Chelsea because I know for a fact when he was playing in Holland, Mason Mount, this was before, I think it was the year we won the league, so I think 2017, I think he was playing in Holland. I think at the time his dad said, you shouldn't stay at Chelsea, like leave Chelsea and stuff. But obviously Mount stayed, and like he's been our best player this season for like by a mile, and he's really carrying the team. And it's like there's only so much you can do, and he's only 22. It's like the actual leaders that are out there, they're not grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck as well. It's like Rudiger's not doing that. He's experienced. Thiago Silva's done all right, but he wasn't good enough against Leicester, and we really miss Kante as well. Like Kante was just a big miss for us as well. I think he's got a hamstring problem, so he should be back hopefully for Wolves, but we don't know yet. I'm not sure. So yeah, guys. On to just very quickly before we wrap this up now. We'll get on to the Premier League games that are happening next week. So who start with? We'll start with Nandu. We'll start with Kunal first. You guys have got Sheffield United.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts going into that game?
I think it will be a win for United again, just because we beat them earlier and the way Sheffield have been this season. Last season, if you ask me, last season Sheffield were doing really well, and I don't know what's happened to them this season. And United got Henderson back from loan. Sheffield had Henderson in their goal last season, but I wouldn't say that just having lost Henderson made them reach where they are today. So just looking at it, I think that United would not breeze past them, but it would be a United win.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
And okay, on to the other two now. So Nandu and Abhinav, obviously you guys play each other. Spurs v Liverpool, which is next Thursday. Just briefly, what your thoughts on the game, Nandu?
So last time we played, I feel as if we should have finished the game off. Obviously, Bergwijn didn't. Firmino with a last minute header. So
Spurs again.
It was a bit Spursy towards the end, innit? So yeah. I'm hoping next week is going to be a closer game. Obviously, Liverpool don't look as much as an attacking threat as it did before Christmas. But from our side, we're just bottlers, I can't lie. Like, we only got 8 points from our last 5 games. And
mate, don't even get started on like previous record past 8 games. Like,
what's your record like in big games, though?
Oh, no, not big. Oh, mate, our big games, we've only drawn to United and drawn to Spurs. That's it, I think, yeah. So I think it's 2 points, sadly. Yeah, 2 points, sadly, I think. We haven't beaten the, I think, top 8 side this year, or top 6 side even this year.
That's a surprise, isn't it, with the amount we spent?
After spending 200 million.
We might have to change the title of this video to
200 million.
Chelsea, yeah.
What about Tottenham, though? How many big games have they won? I can't remember.
We beat City, drew with Chelsea. Arsenal we won, but light work, innit?
I'd love to say the same, but we bloody lost 3-1 against them, man.
You gave them the confidence, so I will never forgive you for that. United 6-1, obviously, but
that felt like years ago. I'm not even joking. That result, it felt so long ago.
That's probably a one-off game as well, so I'm not really bigging myself up on that. But next week, if we concede a goal, it's gonna be from a header, obviously. Firmino, someone like that, or Matip gonna score from a header. That's how they're gonna win. But overall, I'm gonna say probably 1-1.
Oh, okay, fair enough. What about Abhinav, from your point of view, bro?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a different game to last time. Last time we had a bit of form going into the game. This time we have none, and we're away. Even though there's no fans, we are a lot better at home. We create a lot more chances, so it's going to be a different dynamic. I feel like we're going to be, even though we're away from home, we're going to have a lot of the ball because that's just the way Mourinho sets up.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be. I'm not a very optimistic person in general, so I'm just going to go for 1-1.
One
I
one.
think it,
Yeah,
I think
I
it
think
mainly depends how we set up as well. Because if we play 5 at the back like we did against Sheffield, I think we're going to be more of an attacking threat. But if we play 4 at the back, I think Liverpool have got the game.
yeah, it just depends who's fit as well for that game as well. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, that wraps up episode 2 of the podcast. Just before we go and stuff, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, Twitter, and Instagram as well. I just want to say again, massive shout out to all the key workers out there. You're doing a great job for this country and stuff. And if you haven't already, check out episode 1, which we aired last week as well. We had some interesting discussions there as well. So if you haven't already, check that out, like, subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week.